I recently switched my smart home control over to Apple's HomeKit. I'm surprised how many people are doing the same, to the point that Apple doubled their smart home share this past year. So I thought I'd put together a video of my top 5 automation features that I get using Apple's HomeKit. Now, if you'd like to check out my video on why I made the switch, I'll put links to that down in the description. These 5 features, they're nothing crazy or special. They're just included features within the Home app and shortcuts. Really easy to use, so even if you're a beginner, you could start using these today. I'm going to go through each one of them and give you some examples of how to use them. Number 1 is location-based actions and automations. Throughout Apple's HomeKit in automations and within certain devices, you're going to see location options. For example, if I go to make an automation, you'll see there's people arrive and people leave. If you select either one of those, you're going to see different options for location. For example, it says anyone arrives. If I click that right here, the 2 family members registered in my house are myself and my wife. So if either one of us arrives, it'll trigger this automation. If you want to do something that's a little more generic so that whoever gets home first, it doesn't really matter. You don't want to accidentally shut off the lights in the house when you leave because your partner didn't leave. Just to play it safe, what you can do is choose the first person arrives to trigger that routine. Or if you're under leave, you could do when the last person leaves. You do have some additional options. You have location, so that these automations don't have to be based just on your house. It could be when you leave work, it turns on the air conditioning at home and turns on some lights. You also have the time option, so you can pick whether it happens anytime during the day, at night, or specified time. So let's say it's one of those automations when you leave work. Once you're at home, you don't need to run again, so maybe you just pick a window of time that automation will run. Using the people leave option can be great, so it turns off lights inside, arms the alarm, and locks the door behind you. So even if you did do those things, it sends the command again just to be safe. Now, location-based actions aren't limited to just automations. There's devices like camera that take advantage of location. If I grab a supported camera that uses HomeKit Secure Video, and if you're not familiar with HomeKit Secure Video, what that is supported cameras can save the recordings to your iCloud account. That way you don't need any third-party service having access to footage from your cameras. So really convenient, really nice. Now, what's great with one of these supported cameras, if you click the settings, you have some different options under recordings. If you click recording options, you have location options. So with either of them, you have the same options, but if we click on one, when at home. Well, when at home, I have the choice to either continue allowing streaming and recording. So if it picks up motion, it will record it. I could pick stream, and that's not gonna record any footage, but I could always check in on the camera. I can pick detect activity, and what that'll do is it won't allow you to stream, won't allow you to record footage, but you could still use the motion sensor to trigger routines. And then there's the off option. I think that's a great option for privacy, especially if you use cameras indoors. Soon as you come home, first person that arrives, it can turn off those cameras so you're completely private. And then when you leave, you don't have to remember to run a routine or anything to turn them back on. As soon as the last person leaves, you're now monitoring your house. Really the best of both worlds, especially since the recordings go to your iCloud account. You can also customize these actions for each camera. Like my outdoor camera, whether I'm home or not, I wanted to stream and record. The indoor cameras, let them go completely off. Number 2 is using any smart device to control another device. After all these years with these smart speakers being out and the smart home control, you think this would be something pretty simple. Well, on the Echoes, you have to use Home Assistant or SmartThings Hub or another option to create virtual switches and other stuff. Really seems too complicated this far into the game. Now, example of how to use this is nothing fancy. It's just having one light switch turn on a second light switch. Like in my house, I have an inconveniently placed light switch. Now I go to the main switch we use, I press it, and it turns on that second switch. We're now using lights that we never use because of the placement of the switch. I don't have to call up any groups using voice or use any apps. They're just tied together now. It's great if you have two devices that are different that you know you'll always want them to work together. Another example of how to use it is my smart switch that I have for my porch light in the backyard. When I turn that on, it triggers a smart plug that turns on some hanging pergolights that we have. I always want those two to work together, or at least during a certain time frame, which is pretty cool. To take advantage of this, when you go to make an automation, you could click on an accessory as controlled. So let's take a look. You click on, let's say, my light. Now next, when I turn on my light, I could hit next, and here are all my other accessories and scenes. I want Craig's light to turn on. I hit next. So when my light turns on, it will turn on Craig's light. Hit done. And now, anytime I control that accessory, that light gets turned on with it. Building on that, number 3 is having any device trigger a scene, which is great. Let's say you want to take a single smart switch, and when you turn that on, it turns on the lights that are tied to that smart switch, but it also triggers a scene to set levels of other smart bulbs and to set the color for those bulbs. Really easy to do. You go to create an automation. Again, you select the accessory that you want to control. Let's say anytime I turn on my closet light, hit next. When that gets turned on, now I can pick any of the scenes I've written. It's a great feature that opens up a lot of different options. Beyond just having devices control scenes and other devices, you also have more sensor options. So if I were to click a sensor detect something, I now have access to humidity, light sensors, temperature sensors. So maybe the room gets too hot and it will turn on a smart plug that turns the fan on and also closes some curtains for you that are written within the scene. Or you can write an automation with a humidity sensor that turns on the bathroom fan when someone's taking a shower and it gets too humid. There's so many more automation options when you can use any device or any sensor. Why should we be limited to just motion sensors, door sensors, and the occasional button? I like the flexibility that this opens up. With other assistants, why can't I just make a simple routine so when I flip the switch on my closet, it triggers some relaxing music so I could get in the mood to try some clothes on? Who am I kidding? I'm not trying clothes on. I'm wearing the same shirt in every video. Number 4 is personal automations. Personal automations is great. It takes the devices that you're using and you can trigger automations with those. You have a ton of different options. Like in the morning, I use my phone so that when the alarm goes off, it triggers an automation, turns on the coffee machine, turns on the TV, and turns on some lights. Now, to take advantage of some of these great features, you go under shortcuts, go to automations, create a personal automation, and you're gonna see so many different options. Time of day, alarm, you have these same location-based options. You can even do something before your commute where it predicts when it should trigger this automation. You can have things like email, message automations, your device connecting to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. You can even have an app trigger an automation. So when you open up Twitter when you shouldn't be, it can automatically send a message to your friend saying, I caved and I'm on social media again when I should be working. You can automate all that kind of stuff. You can do so much with personal automations. You know, on my phone, I mentioned that I have the morning routine that turns on my coffee machine, sets the lights, turns on the TV, all when my alarm goes off. Other personal automations I use a lot are NFC tags, which brings me to number 5, using NFC tags with HomeKit. If you're not familiar with NFC tags, they are a little sticker that sends out a signal that identifies it, so a unique signal. There are no batteries in this. What it does is uses the power from the device trying to activate it. So when you bring your phone, for example, near the NFC sticker, when they're within 3 to 4 inches away from each other, it'll pick it up. Well, you can take those and write automations. So if I go to hit plus and create a personal automation, when it's on my phone, I can actually scroll down and see NFC tag. Now I can scan this tag, and when I scan it, I just put it near. It'll see what it is. I then give it a name, hit OK, hit next, and now I start to pick what I want it to do. So let's say when I scan that, I want it to run my LifeX scene. So let's just set a scene in I want to set a scene in LifeX. So select LifeX, select set a scene, and I want it to do my blue-white video scene. This is basically what I'm doing with these NFC tags I have over here. So next I want to trigger some stuff within my home app. So I type in home, control my home, and I want to turn on a couple of lights in here. Or just one light in my office. So let's say my front light, I want to select that, hit next, it's going to turn on, and hit done. So those two actions are going to happen when I bring my phone next to this NFC tag. It's really cool. So for example, when my lights are off in here, when I want to start recording, I just bring my phone next to an NFC tag that I have over there, and everything powers up. Nice and easy. And those came up with a little delay because I put a little wait time in there. What's cool too is an NFC tag can have different options in the same tag. So in the case of my bedroom, I have one next to my bedroom door. When I put my phone next to the NFC sticker, it turns on my bedroom light. Now, when my wife puts her phone next to the sticker, it turns on her light. Then next to our beds, we have a sticker on our nightstands. I put my phone next to mine, it turns off my light, hers turns off her light. Nice and easy. One of my favorite uses for the NFC sticker is in the living room, right next to where I sit on the table. I put one there, and now when I put my phone next to it, it turns on the TV, switches to my account, and then opens up the TV app. And much easier than waiting for the TV to turn on. Oh, I'm under someone else's, now switch, all that. Instead, ready to go. NFC tags are great. There are so many options. They're really just limited by your imagination. I love that I can trigger things without voice, touch. Just put my phone next to a sticker. We're in the future, folks. Now, what is your favorite HomeKit feature? Let us know in the comment section. Next, make sure to check out this video over here on why I switched to Apple's HomeKit. It's a tearjerker. You're gonna wanna see it. Big changes. I'm just kidding. It's a good video though. Check it out. Bye.